Got it.
I agree. Mike Trout, Zach Gallen, lots of Eagles fans up there in Major League Baseball. All right, to the baseball we go. And this is good news to the Chicago Cubs as they're arriving right now in Mesa, Arizona. That's right. Dansby Swanson among those showing up. Shota Imanaga will be named the opening day starter, and the manager Craig Counsell as well, hoping for a better season for the Cubbies in year 2. Leadership the key, according to Jen Hoyer.
Feels like you're waiting for the first day of school. That's what it feels like, in a great way. I'm excited to get here. Just seeing players on the field throwing balls every day is great. So it's time to get started. It feels a little bit early because of Japan, but I think that's a good thing, and it is a really good vibe. Try to shore up any areas that we think are weaknesses. How do we try to become as redundant as possible in different areas? So I wouldn't rule out anything. Like I said before, like, you always want to be cognizant of your future. You always want to make sure that you don't tread too heavily on the future, but at the same time, wins are a premium now. We have a good team now, so you have to really try to balance those two things.
We've made decisions to, move wins forward. You don't make a trade for Kyle Tucker if you don't feel like you have, a really strong team going into that year. And so certainly I would say, objectively, we've improved year over year in terms of just the talent level that's on the field. And, in the 3+ years I've been here, this is certainly the most talented team.
We're in a good place. Feel ready and eager to get started, really. Glad we're getting started. Glad we're the first ones getting started. It's excitement, really.
Jen Hoyer saying, I wouldn't rule out anything near Kerr Hawkins, saying this is certainly the most talented team we've had. Busy offseason. In terms of the additions, Ryan Presley, it's now or never as far as that bullpen is concerned, really shores up the closer position. Kyle Tucker, massive addition coming over from the Houston Astros. He's one of the best players in baseball as far as subtractions. While Isaac Freitas had to be dealt there to Houston, Cody Bellinger is now a member of the New York Yankees, and Mastrobuoni gone out of the mix as well. Interesting right now for this Cubs team, Damp. Again, you're locked in as much as anybody in this Chicago Cubs team. What did you make of their offseason overall?
Yeah, I think when you look at subtractions and what they lost and then what they gained, you can't help but be excited if you're a Cubs fan. I mean, the amount of talent to get a guy like Kyle Tucker, who's an MVP candidate when he's playing well. So I just think it was a lot of good moves and the experience and depth, right? So like guys like, when you can pick up Birdie, who is a guy who can play first base for you, can play around, has some speed, does those kind of things, has been around the league, knows what he's doing, and then the bullpen. I mean, to go out there and get Presley in the trade, a guy that I love that they picked up, by the way, when they picked up Matthew Boyd. I had a big conversation with him, and he talked about, the analytics of the game and how he got so wrapped up in them that he kind of forgot his identity of being a pitcher.
Yeah.
Trying to create these different things as we get into creating more velocity or more spin. It's like, well, I got to pitch still. And he kind of found himself last year. We saw what he was able to do in the postseason, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a big signing for them, too. Tons of depth. Listen, you're going to have injuries throughout the year. The more guys you can have that can help you out when those guys go down, and they did a good job of that.
Still one big free agent out there, and Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
Imagine him coming to Chicago, and all of a sudden it really feels like a former Astros team. You'd have Tucker, you'd have Bregman. I just think it'd be such a great fit there at the friendly confines.
Yeah, I think it would, and I think that, when you listen to Jed and Carter talk, I think that's somebody that they obviously have targeted and have had conversations with, as well as many teams have, and I think it's a place that Alex Bregman would love to play, if not back in Houston. And, if that's something that comes to fruition, I think it really solidifies the Cubs as the front runner. The Cubs as the front runner in the National League Central.
Yeah, I mean, his offense dipped a little bit, but still an elite defender. He won his first Gold Glove, and you see the numbers overall. He's a guy that could put up 26 home runs. Maybe at Wrigley it's 90 RBI. Could be a really effective player for him as well. How about Matt Shaw?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If you go out and get him, it allows Matt Shaw a little bit more time. I know that there's this expectation that you can just slide in, obviously because of the year he had last year. Hit at every level, just kept moving up and just kept raking. He crushes the baseball. But you have to repeat that now again, right? Sometimes we have those years where everything's locked in. There's no track record to depend on that yet, but we know that the talent's there, the work ethic's there. This kid is determined to be great, and I think, eventually he's going to find himself in the big leagues for the Cubs. Is that at third base? Is that at, second base? We don't know, but wherever he ends up, I think he's going to be a great addition. And if you go out and get a guy like Bregman, it just gives him a little bit more time to season and mature, but also, Craig Counsell said it, he's going to get every shot and every opportunity right now going forward to be the third baseman on opening day.
And starting pitching-wise, Shota Imanaga is going to be the opening day starter.
Yeah.
He's a guy that he's a ton of fun to watch, Tim, because it's such a great reminder. You don't have to throw 97 to be effective. In fact, he'll start one of the Tokyo Series games, according to Craig Counsell. I just think he's a lot of fun to watch pitch.
Yeah, and this guy's a student of the game. I think that's what gets lost in this, because he's got a great personality. He's got the awesome hair. He's bowing to the hitters when they come up. He's doing all these things. This guy loves baseball. Like, I mean, when he was in Japan, he was diving into hitters over here and pitchers and the history of the game. He really appreciated everything he is doing. And I think, you know, this is a great honor for him to go back to Japan and to be able to start that opener against the defending champion World Series, you know, Los Angeles Dodgers. Probably end up being Yamamoto against him. Who knows? Yeah. But what a cool, special moment. And to already know that you have that coming down the pipeline. This guy works as hard as anybody. He's a great teammate. He earned it last year to go out there and start opening day.
Cubs fans will be bowing down to him like Mike Myers and Waynesville, right? We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Yeah. We shall see. Imanaga, a lot of fun to watch him in Tokyo. More players and more teams arriving.
The Dodgers a strike away from a championship, from a proper celebration.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series! That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! They've done it! They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for!
Oh, my world champion! LA Dodgers are still celebrating that World Series title with an offseason for the ages. Blake Snell is a two-time Cy Young Award winner. Great. We'll grab him from the rival Giants for 5 years and $182 million. Teoscar Hernandez, who always lights up a room and lights up a lot of balls. 3 years, 66 after he bet on himself on a one-year deal. Hai Sung Kim comes over. He can offer some defense and versatility. 3 years, 12.5. There's a relative chump change here for the Dodgers. Roki Sasaki, hello, 23 years of age, throws 100 miles an hour, and as most Japanese pitchers do, throws a devastating split. This was the point where I started to lose my mind. Tanner Scott, 4 years, $72 million contract, one of the best closers in the game for what had been a great bullpen with the likes of Blake Trinan and others. And, you know, hey, what the heck? Let's get that bullpen even better. Kirby Yates, who was one of the best closers in baseball a year ago, you get 1 year and $13 million. And then, hey, why not? Let's get Kike Hernandez, who's been so valuable and so versatile for this Dodgers team. Maybe he doesn't play everywhere, but with this team, it certainly does. He can play literally every position for this Dodgers team, and clearly he's been comfortable there, and he re-signs the Dodgers and is able to make a little more magic for this Los Angeles team. So you've got utility guys, you've got stars. I mean, look at the versatility again to this point. Kike has played third, short, second, first, left, center, right. Just no pitching and catching. All good. Mookie, 3 positions, most notably, can play second, short, or right. Chris Taylor can play a bevy of positions. Tommy Edman turned a few good months into a 5-year deal. And Miguel Rojas can also play every single position in the infield. It's amazing to think about. Are you with me? The Tanner Scott move was the one where you go, okay, I get off. Time out. This is where it's getting ridiculous. The Dodgers are signing everybody.
Yeah, and then they followed that up with Yates shortly after that. I'm just like, what's going on here? But you know what I think I really enjoy about all this is, listen, we haven't said since 1998, 99, 2000 when the Yankees went on that run.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a repeat, right? It's hard to go back to back because you're playing longer, everything that goes on. And a lot of teams, when they win, they kind of get content. They're like, oh, we'll roll it back out with the same crew.
Right.
I think injecting life. Like, you remember one year it was Scott Brocious at third for the Yankees. Then it was Charlie Hayes. You know, it was Wade Boggs. They were always kind of moving these pieces in. And I think when you bring in other players that are a little bit hungry who weren't there, it provides that spark. And so those other guys can kind of take their time throughout the course of the season. And now you have that depth where you can really manage your roster. Like Dave Roberts has the, you know, the luxury now, and he'd be the first one to admit it. Like, I got great players, and how do I give them the right amount of time off? Because all the things that come with being a champion, right? All the celebration afterwards, while you're sitting there having a parade, guys are working out in the gym, getting ready for the next season, right? They're all trying to eat the carrot that you just ate. They're chasing it now. And so I think the way they went about it is pretty spectacular. Guys want to go there for not just the money. The money's one thing. You're going to get that anywhere. It's because you're going to win. You're going to get treated in a first-class way. That was the one thing I took away from talking to those guys. So good on them for doing that. They took the opportunity, and they seized it.
The bullpen was so deep a season ago. They didn't have enough starters. No problem. The postseason, Dave Roberts worked his magic, had those guys step up. Now when I look at this bullpen, I say to myself, okay, Trinan can be a guy for me, even with the goatee, which looks like a late 90s singer. But Michael Kopech was fantastic a season ago. Yates, as you mentioned, and then Tanner Scott. Dave Roberts says he'll get the bulk of the appearances, Tanner Scott as a closer. But what, again, to your point, Dev, what a luxury. If need be, I've got Yates, Trine, and Kobe. All those guys can close.
Yeah, it's really quite incredible. And to have the lefty-righty combination, a la like Norm Charlton, Rob Dibble, you know, you got your own nasty boys right now. Because like what managers try to do is find these pockets, right? Where do my relievers match up against a certain part of the lineup? And when you got lefty, lefty, cool, Tanner Scott, you're closing today. We got righty, righty. Guess what? Kopech, you got it. Or Phillips, you got it. Because you led our team in saves last year. Or we go Blake Trinan, and it gives the opportunity to kind of coast with these guys a little bit and build them up. Season starting a little bit earlier for them over in Japan. The recovery of coming back from Japan, plus all the innings that these guys logged late in the season and the high leverage pitches that they threw. So yeah, this is truly, I think the Dodgers have on paper, you know, and you know, kind of with your own eyes, the greatest luxury right now of 4 potential closers in their bullpen, and Dave Roberts be able to go to any one of those guys on any given night. It's incredible.
So starting pitching, they have the luxury of potentially 5 #1 opening day starters. As you take a look at this list, Snell, who's won 2 Cy Youngs, Yamamoto, who could have won a Cy Young a season ago before he got hurt. Glass now has filthy stuff. Sasaki, 23, with lights out stuff. Gonsolin, Dustin May, little Bobby Miller, little Landon Knack. Ohtani likely to join the rotation in May. So I'm looking at those top 4 guys. Who starts opening day for you?
Oh, I'm going. I want. If we're in Japan, we're pitching in Tokyo. I want Yamamoto in there. Let's go. Imanaga, Yamamoto. Let's get the matchup. Come on. Give the Japanese fans what they want and baseball what they want, right? Like, this is great for the globalization of the game that you have these 2 studs at the top of their team's rotations to go up against each other. They matched up in September out there in LA. They both pitched masterfully out there, and to see them do this in Japan in their home country after coming over to the major leagues, I think it would be an incredible thing, a great storyline.
And kind of your point, look at Yamamoto. Was he not as sharp in the postseason? Perhaps a little bit, but still, he was a guy who was clearly effective, was able to be his best. Still a sub-1 whip, by the way, even in the postseason. Here's the thing, too, with the Dodgers regular season. Dave Roberts can be so smart with this. You're not going to see a Dodger starter, I think, throw more than 150 innings. Right? The Japanese pitchers normally only pitch once a week. So Yamamoto, he can go 6-man rotation. Kershaw, you don't have to pitch till July. Otani's not coming back till May. He'll keep all these guys fresh as much as possible come playoff time.
100%. Why wouldn't you? I mean, when you have that luxury, and in today's game where we don't, you know, put the stress like we used to on the 200-inning benchmark. Like, I got to throw 200 innings. Teams don't worry about that. Managers don't worry about that. How can I keep my guys healthy so that when we come to the end of the season, September going in October, we're firing on all cylinders, you know? And, like, he's got the luxury now where we were joking in the meeting, somebody in the rotation can just go, oh, you got a cold? You feel it? We're going to give you a little break right now. We're going to slide another guy who's capable of dominating out there. So, what a super team they do have. Now, at the same time, you got to go out and play it on the field. We can write down all the players on paper, how good they are, what they did last year, and they won the World Series. But everybody's gunning for them, and everybody's going to bring their best bolt, and this team will be ready for it.
Always fun to see the over-under win totals because people are saying, wait, could this Dodgers team be what?
This is incredible.
Like, on paper, provided by BetMGM, you're looking at 104.5. I mean, you're talking 11 more, Dem, than the next closest team in the Yankees and the Braves. Then you got the Mets and Phillies. Again, low 90s, O's, high 80s. 104.5 is where you're starting the bidding.
Yeah, you got a lot of like classic rock stations at 104.5. You're going right there, heavy metal. They're coming for you. Listen, I'm going to bet the over. Like, if me and you are saying we're going to do dinner right now, you want to do that? I'll do dinner. If they go over, you buy me
I love
dinner.
that. All right, over with dinner, and if not,
if they go under, I'm buying.
And not like Tim Hortons. We're going to a nice, good steak.
No, really nice, yeah. Something like the Keg or something like that. You know?
I knew you wouldn't miss a beat. You're taking the over. Because my only thing is that, listen, there's injuries. And plus, I think this team, too, Dem, they don't feel like they need to set history, right? There's certain teams that go, hey, we want to eclipse the Mariners of 0-1 and 116. These guys are going, hey, we're fine. We're going to coast. We got our 100 wins, won the division. We're fine.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but remember what we talked about with their depth. So when you have depth, what do you have? You have really good players on your bench. Well, those guys are going to want to get in the game and prove themselves to play. So, you know, it's not like, oh, well, we'll rest our starters. Some of these other guys, their bench players are starters on other teams. So that's like the big thing you're going to run into is no matter who they run out there, at what position, who's on the mound, or who's coming in from the bullpen, every one of them is a bona fide Major League Baseball player, and a good one at that. And they have 3 superstars in Ohtani and Freeman and Betts. And then you got a bunch of guys capable of being all-stars and superstars themselves. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this shakes out with their team. It's either going to be great and they're going back to back, or they're going to be sitting there at the end of the year going, how'd that happen with that team, you know? scratching their heads.
It's a good point about pride, right? For Bobby Miller, it's, this is win day. Landon Knack's come in there. Miguel Rojas, this is my time to shine. And also beefing up the front office as well, in terms of our news and notes here. Alden Gonzalez, the Dodgers hiring former Giants president of baseball operations Farhan Zaidi as a special advisor. Zaidi will also assist owner Mark Walter on his other sports interests.
Pickleball, I think. They're really big into that. They're doubles partners. I'd have to double check my sources.
ついに2024年シーズンの幕が開ける昨シーズン、ロサンゼルス・ドジャースはその名の通り、世界一の頂点に立ち、歓喜の瞬間をファンと共に分かち合った。しかし、彼らは満足することなく、さらなる高みを目指し、オフシーズンでの驚異的な補強を成功させたブレイク・スネルが加わり、サイ・ヤング賞を2度獲得したゴーアン・サワンがローテーションをさらに強化した。テオスカー・ヘルナンデスはホームランも打てるクラッチヒッターとして打線の破壊力を倍増させる存在となる。そしてロキ・佐々木が100マイル超えのストレートと魔球スプリットを武器にメジャーアリーグの舞台で衝撃を与える準備を整えた。さらに何よりも大きなニュースは翔平大谷が5月に二刀流復活を果たすことだ。これにより真のドジャース感全体が誕生する瞬間がやってくる。ドジャースのロッカールームではすでに2024年シーズンへの熱気がみなぎっている。デーブ・バーツ監督はこのチームには勝つための全てが揃っている。ベッツ、フリーマン、大谷というスーパースターがいるだけじゃない。ベンチにいる選手だってどのチームでもレギュラーを張れるほどの実力者だ。このシーズンは特別なものになるよと語ったムーキー・ベッツは昨年の優勝は最高だった。でも俺たちはそこで終わらない。今年はもっとすごいシーズンにしてみせるよと自信を覗かせる。フレディ・フリーマンもこのチームの一員であることを誇りに思う。ドジャースファンのために俺たちはもう一度頂点に立つと熱い思いを語った。そして翔平大谷は自分の役割を果たしチームの勝利に貢献することが何よりも大事です。復帰したら二刀流でドジャースの勝利に貢献しますと強い意気込みを見せている。この言葉の一つ一つにドジャースの本気が詰まっている。2024年のドジャースは史上最強のロースターを誇る。先発ローテーションはエース級の投手が5人以上揃い、ブルペンにはクローザー級の投手が4人いる。打線はベッツ、フリーマン、大谷、ヘルナンデスと1番から9番まで隙がない。守備力もベテランの経験と若手のエネルギーが融合し万全の状態だ。まさにスーパーチームと呼ぶにふさわしい布陣となった。そしてこのチームが持つ最大の武器はチームワークだ。勝つために何が必要かを全員が理解しお互いを信じ補い合いながらシーズンを戦っていく。この力だけではなくチームとして一体となることでさらなる高みへと到達することができる。連覇という言葉は簡単だ。しかしそれを成し遂げるのは並大抵のことではない。最後に MLB で連覇を達成したのは1998年から2000年のニューヨークヤンキースだった。それ以降どれだけのスーパーチームが生まれようとも連覇の壁を越えられなかった。しかし2024年のドジャースは違う。彼らは本気でその壁を乗り越えるつもりだ。ベッツが、フリーマンが、大谷が、そしてドジャースの全員がワールドシリーズ連覇という歴史を作るために戦う。ここまで読んでくれたあなた、そう、あなたの応援がドジャースの勝利につながる。ドジャースの戦いをリアルタイムで追いかけよう。この動画が面白かったら高評価ボタンを押してください。ドジャースファンならチャンネル登録を忘れずに。コメント欄であなたの期待する選手や注目ポイントを教えてください。2024年ロサンゼルス・ドジャースは歴史を塗り替えるその瞬間を一緒に目撃しよう。